Story time. Now, I tell y'all a story about the time that I got sent to an alternative school. Basically, I was in 8th grade, so I was 13 years old. Let me just say this. I never did, well, at the, how do I say this? What the freak? When I was 13 and younger, I never did drugs. So this story, I was actually pretty curious. I never did drugs, that young. I didn't hang around with like the drug type crew or whatever. I wasn't like friends with these people. And don't do drugs, they are very bad for you. Basically, I just wanted to say that before I say my story. I had this girl in my class and she actually sat beside me, so I had to talk to her because the teacher would put us in like partners and groups and stuff because we sat near each other. Her friends, I guess, in the morning, like before class started, her friends, I guess, were passing out weed brownies. And I never, like I said, like I never did drugs. I didn't know who these girls were. I know that I would see them around school, but they're kind of like ghetto. So, I never talked to them. I was honestly quiet and I kind of like stuck to myself. And I remember that girl, I think we had to get in partners and it was first period. And she goes, "Hey, my friend gave me like a weed brownie." And I was like, "What?" Like, I've never heard of that. I didn't know that you could put weed in like brownies or cakes and cookies. And she was like, "Yeah," and she pulled it out and I was like, "Oh my god, like if there's really weed in that, like you better put that up or something." I was just like, "Oh my god, like put that up." And she was like, "Well, yeah, I'm just showing you." And I was like, "Is there really weed in there?" She goes, "She said that there was, she made it." And I looked at it and I was like, "Well, I've never really done anything. All these kids are smoking weed and stuff." And I wasn't doing it to be cool. I was only 13. I don't want to say like it was retarded of me. I was pretty curious. And, a lot of kids were doing stuff. And I was just like, I'm scared to do it. Like I was raised real well. And I was like, well, let me have a bite. So I took a bite out of it and it wasn't bad, but I didn't, feel anything. I just took one bite and then she gave me half of it so I could take it home. And I was like, okay, like, I can take it home, probably finish it or whatever. Let's like, we're about to go to bed, but let's see if I get higher. I don't know. So I have to use the bathroom so bad. I just need to finish this. So anyway, we're in class and then one of the principals come into my class and they're like, they ask if they can speak with her. They asked my teacher like, "Oh, can I pull, I'm gonna make a fake name up for her. Can I pull Ashley out for a second?" And my teacher was like, "Yeah." So then, I'm like, oh my, like I instantly, I knew what was going on. And I was like, oh my God, like she's gonna, they're gonna make her tell them like, who else did you give it to? When it was gonna go down, I already knew what was gonna happen, so I was just waiting. So then, a few moments later, then the same principal comes and asks, "Oh, can we borrow Autumn for a second or whatever?" And my teacher was like, "Yeah." And I looked at I felt bad for my teacher because I looked at her on the side of my eye and she was like, she was curious. She was like, "What's going on?" And I went and I was like, freak, like I know what's gonna happen. I don't know what they're gonna do to me. I especially do not want my parents to find out because this is a drug. It was marijuana. And so I was like, what do I do? I'm just gonna fake it or whatever. Like they played me. And so I get up and I'm like, freak, like, oh my goodness. So then she goes, "You know why I pulled you out?" And we were walking to like her office or whatever, and I go, "No." And she goes, "You ate a weed brownie." And I was like, what? And I was like, I didn't know that. I was like, I know that I ate a brownie, but I didn't know that there's marijuana in it or weed, whatever. And she was just like, yep. And I was like, well, what if I didn't know? Like, am I still gonna get in trouble? She goes, it doesn't matter. You still ate it. So now we have to, you know, give consequences and stuff. And I'm just like, well, that didn't help. So I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I really didn't know. And I just stopped because I'm like, oh, it's not helping, because she just kept saying the same thing, like, oh, it doesn't matter. But I really did know. So yeah. So anyway, oh my god, I have to use the bathroom so bad. Guys, I'm about to stop this so I can go use the restroom. Oh my goodness. She took me into her office and it was just me and her, and I guess they had like all the girls or boys. I don't even know, like till this day I don't even know who was involved. I just know it was me and that one girl that was in my class. I'm the hiccups. So then she's talking to me and she goes, you just got yourself long-term Carver. And for those of you that don't know, in my hometown, I live in a little city in Texas. Carver is an alternative school in my hometown. So I didn't really have to go through all that. I just wanted to let y'all know. Basically a school for bad kids. And so the dress code is like a white shirt, black or brown belt with no like designs on it, dark jeans, and for boys you have to wear shorts and you can't have no pockets on them. Like you literally have to cut off the pockets or something. You have to have your shirt tucked in and then the belt, of course, and then no high top shoes. So I always just wore my Converse or my Air Forces. I had white Air Forces. I was lame. And they were like low top. So they weren't high top Converse or high top Air Forces. They're like low top. And, or whatever. And then you couldn't wear, girls couldn't wear no makeup, no jewelry, no piercings. And we had to like be careful with like the stuff we carry in our hair. Like if I wore a bobby pin, I had to hide it like in my hair or whatever, and like put hair over it or something, because they didn't want me to take it out and like stab a guy or something. When she told me that I had long-term Carver, I bursted out. Like I started crying and I was like, no, and everything. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And she goes, we're about to call your parents so they can come over here and sign the papers and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my god, like that's what I was more scared of, is my parents. Now everybody was kind of like hating on me because they're like, wow, you're so stupid that you ate it. And I'm just like I was curious. Wouldn't you be curious too? Like at least I'm not like a freaking pothead now. I was just curious. Like that doesn't mean that I smoke now. Now in high school, I mean, maybe like I had friends and I would just, and I didn't really even hang out with the like freaking potheads at school. Maybe I would just be like, well, they're gonna give me some, so let me go to lunch with them today. And I'll go whatever tomorrow. But in high school that was different. But I was never an actual like pothead. I think like after high school, obviously after high school, I was just like, well, I'm not gonna, that's not me, you know. And so then I'm like sitting very cute right now. So then my parents come, and my brother, I forgot how old he was, but he was a baby, kind of. He was probably like 1 or 2, I don't know, maybe 3, no, maybe 2, was he 2? 1, 2 or 3, whatever. So anyways, I'm like really like thinking about his freaking age. I don't know why. He's like 9 now. He's turning freaking 10 in February. That's crazy. But yeah, he's a big booger, but I love him. So anyways, my mom comes first because my parents were actually separated then, and my mom came and she had my brother and she was carrying him, and I'm like, oh, can I carry him? And I think my tears calmed down. And then so she gave me the baby, or she gave me my brother, and the principal was telling her like she ate a weed brownie and once, and she has Carver. And like she ate a weed brownie and she has Carver. Like that's basically how she said it. And once she was done saying it, my mom goes, "Nah, give me the baby." And like I'm just like, you think I'm gonna give the baby a weed brownie? And I was like, why did you take the baby away from me? You know, I was like, even till this day, I'm just like, Mom, I mean, come on now, you were really overreacting about that one. And so, yeah, I remember I was just like, what the heck? And then she was just like, I'm calling your dad. And then my stupid principal, I don't even like her. She had like a man face, literally. And the principal was like, oh, we already did that. And I'm just like, I'm gonna get it when I get home. But it's like, come on. My parents just need to be like, oh, we understand and stuff. But they're just like yelling at me in front of all the teachers. And I'm just like, but they were mad though because my parents didn't like raise me like that, you know, like they did not raise me in any type of bad. They didn't raise me around drugs and stuff. Like I was a princess and I'm still, you know, they're still treating me to be a princess basically, even though I'm 20, but it's like I'm teaching the little girls around me. I need to hurry up because I don't want to get like interrupted in my video. So anyways, so I'm almost done. My hair is really like giving me trouble. I don't know if y'all noticed that I keep messing with it, but my bad. So anyways, whenever like they walked out of the room or something, I was in the office by myself and I had the weed brownie in my pocket because y'all remember my friend, or what did I call her that? That girl gave it to my friend. She was the only one that I knew. And so that girl gave it to me because I asked for it and I was just like, you know, can I have it, take it home, whatever. And so I still had that in my pocket, and when they walked out I was like, oh my gosh, like I better take, you know, like so I got a tissue off the desk, and because it was in a plastic bag I think, but I just like got a tissue and I put it in the trash can, then I put like the tissue over it so nobody would see it. So they come back and they're like, do you have the brownie? And I'm like, oh, like I really didn't know what to say, but like it's like I knew that they were gonna ask for it, and I guess I was gonna say, oh no, I don't know, but I did tell them where it was, and I was like, I threw it in the trash can. And they get gloves and they're just like, ew, and like they're like digging in it and they're like, you can literally see the seeds. So I guess like I don't know how you're supposed to make weed brownies or whatever, cookies, sweets. And I guess that girl, whoever made it wrong. Till this day, I don't even know what's going on. I don't even know what happened. And I never asked about it because I never talked to that girl ever again. I was just like, it was embarrassing. It was very embarrassing. That ruined my reputation as a 13-year-old. And I hope that it changes people's minds when they see this video. Even though I'm not that big of a YouTuber, but I need something to post because I need money. So anyways, I keep getting like kind of off topic. So they're digging in and I guess they find a seed and they're just like, oh my god, you can literally see the seeds. And I'm like, well, y'all are acting like, you know, it's a dead person. Like, you know, they put the gloves on and it's like some other principal, or I don't even know how many people were there. I was just like, oh my god, like, and I'm there watching them, and then my dad comes and, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, and they're yelling at me. Then we finally leave and we go to my house and I get my phone taken away and all this stuff, and you know, then I get there and I get sent. Like probably the next week I'm suspended from school. That was the first time I got suspended from school to go to Carver in 8th grade, and I ended up staying there for probably about like almost 3 months instead of 30 days because I was so miserable going to that alternative school that I would beg my parents, you know, whoever I was with that week, I would beg them like, please don't make me go, please don't make me go, like I hate it. And they would actually feel sorry for me because that's not me. And I would get scared, like I was the prettiest girl in there. You know, there was girls that were pregnant and I'm just like, we're 13. So, and then I get scared because like right after they have their baby, then they want to fight other girls, and I'm just like, what is going on here? What is going on here? You know? And then they're like 11, and I'm just like, I was scared. Like, I saw people that I went to elementary school with, and I'm just like, you are so good. Like, what are you doing here? And I walk in, right? And I sit at the door. I walk into the class, and I hear this guy say, like, they're like, we're in jail or something. And I guess they know that like there's new people coming in. So I see that girl. She was the only one that I knew, so she was kind of the only one that I talked to in Carver before I started like kind of getting to know other people. So when I walk in, I see her, and since I'm number one because my last name is an A in the next, you know, like I was always number one. I was number one in my class when I graduated. So anyways, I sat by the door, and so right there it was computers, and I sat by the door, and I walk in, and I sit down, and then like the guy's like, fresh meat, and I'm like, oh my god, like what are they gonna do? You know, is he gonna, I don't know if he's hitting on me. I mean, obviously that's not hitting on, that's not gonna make me blush. And then I was scared because I'm like, what are you gonna do, fight me? Is he gonna get me jumped? I didn't know what was going on. So yeah, it was crazy. And I just sat down, I stayed quiet, I did my work on the computer. But it was I felt like I was stressing so young at that age, because I almost failed 8th grade because I wasn't always going to Carver. And then it was like work on computers. I wasn't really getting it done because I was too busy looking over my shoulder trying to see if somebody was gonna secretly jump me. I didn't want to go to summer school, and so I think it was 3 weeks or something, I worked my butt off when I went back to school, and I, you know, passed obviously, and I graduated with my class. And so yeah, I was just like, never doing that again. Like, obviously I was about to I'm going to 9th grade. I'm gonna turn 14. So now I'm just like a little dumb me. Like, I laugh at myself now. But like, don't do drugs. Don't do it because you're curious, or especially not at school. I mean, don't do it at all. Like, then, you know, I was like really feeling down about myself, but I knew that that wasn't me. So I knew I was gonna get somewhere in life and go to college and, you know, not do drugs and have babies till the right age, you know, stuff like that, which I can't really, I'm not saying that it's so bad, but I'm just saying, like, it's, well, anyways, I'm not like here to judge anyone. I'm just here to tell my story and how it affected me during that time. Obviously it didn't affect anything, because I'm thriving. I'm in school. I'm great, you know, I'm getting good jobs. I'm not here to like brag about my life. Thank you for watching my story time, and don't go. And I hate the name Carver. Like, it's so stupid. I hate that name. And the school is so crappy. And I remember the counselor over there on my last day. The counselor over there was like, why did you do this? And I'm like, I don't know, I was curious. She goes, well, what were you curious for? And I was like, I don't know. She goes, is anything stressful? You know, it's like she wanted me to say. I really was just curious. I wasn't stressing about my parents being separated. You know, like, I don't want to say I didn't care, but I still had them in my life, so why would it bother me, you know? So I wasn't stressed about them being getting divorced or whatever. I was just curious, and she really wanted me to have a reason though. And she was like asking questions. It went eventually to like my parents separating, and I was like, yes, I did it because my parents were separated, because I'm stressed about it. And she was just like, well, see, you can't let stress, you know, get the best of you. And I'm just like, I know. And I was like, let me get my freaking certification or whatever. Like, I threw the certificate away because I'm like, a certificate for completing Carver? No, ma'am. sis, I'm good. So I like threw that away once I got home, and I was just so happy. And I remember whenever it was my first day, I was actually with my mom that week, and I was getting dressed and my mom was crying, and I was like, why is she crying? And she was like, you want to turn out like those girls, those hood rat girls? And I'm just like, no, I don't want to turn out to them. Let me just finish this. And it took me longer to finish. And the reason why I got out so late was because, like I said, I didn't go, but whatever days you missed, you had to make up. So that's why. Like, oh my God. Like, honestly, I would miss like a few days straight, a whole week straight, but I was miserable. I hope that y'all like this video. Like I said, thank you for watching, and I'll be back with another video. Who knows what it is?